What's up, Kings fans? Welcome to the Silver and Black Lair. I'm your host, Ken Fry. This is the Silver and Black Lair LA Kings edition, obviously. And let's get this show on the road. Before we kick it off, I just want to let everybody know today's show is brought to you by Jason Fine, attorney, Big Al. You can reach Big Al at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. He has 3 office locations conveniently located throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. His office in New Jersey is located in Cherry Hill on 3 Greensward Lane. The phone number there is 856-209-5258. And he has 2 offices in Pennsylvania. One office in Pittsburgh, located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And an office in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. The phone number there is 267-888-2980. Jason Fine, attorney Big Al. Be sure to let him know that you're a part of the Out of the Box Sports family, and he'll hook you up with a great deal. All right, man, what a shitty time to be a Kings fan. That's what I'll say. We'll go ahead and kick this off. Nothing but gray clouds right now. So rewind it a little bit. Last time I was on, and we'll start from there. Kings lose to Vancouver to the Canucks, 3-2 in overtime, and they're lucky to get that point. They're lucky to go in there and get that point. Well, it was at home. Falling behind 2-0. Goals by Hoglander and Connor Garland. It was a power play goal. Connor Garland was a power play goal. It was tough. It was a tough way to get the game going there. Heading into the third period, it felt like Vancouver had all the momentum. Kings just looked they looked off. They didn't look like typical Kings hockey. They didn't look good at all. And it was almost you're as a Kings fan, you're almost conceding. It was almost like, all right, it's going to be a 2-0 loss. It is what it is. Maybe we get lucky and get one in there, and just it is what it is. Coming off a great game against Vegas Golden Knights, another big game against Vancouver, right behind the Kings at that point in the playoff hunt. So it's not easy games. They weren't cakewalks. So it was especially the Canucks. So it wouldn't have been crazy to think that the Kings would have lost that game. But just the fact the way they were getting beat in that game against Vancouver, it just it looked uninspired. It really did. But head into the third period, again down 2-0. Kings really have been, for most of this season, putting together some great third periods, and this was no different. Adrian Kempe scores his 26th goal of the season, assisted by Gavrikov and Quentin Byfield. Is Gavy's 17th assist and Byfield's 23rd assist. A great shot by Kempe, able to just flick that wrister in there. It was a quick flick of the wrist, quick shot, top right corner, I believe it was, of the net. Great job there. Warren Fogle, he scores the game game tying goal with about 4 or 5 minutes to go. I think it was maybe a little bit less than that to go in the game. Fogle scores. Great deflection. A beautiful deflection. Is a shot from Spence. It was reviewed for goaltender interference. I was a little bit worried when they reviewed it that it might have been a high stick. The hands came up and they got up there pretty high, but I guess they considered that it was still in acceptable limits. So it was a good goal. They gave it a good goal. No goaltender interference. So it was a penalty then against Vancouver. That's what happens when you challenge a play. If you're wrong, the team that challenged a play, they get a penalty. So got a comment here real quick. Our boy Paul Spencer saying, "What's up, buddy? We need to talk about last night's 8-game parlay. I figured the last leg was the Kings versus Blackhawks, and bam, what happened? It was a shit show, Paul. And statistically, Kings own that game. 40 plus shots. for the Kings, less than 20 shots for the Blackhawks, but it's the Kings looked in control large portions of that game. Just couldn't put the puck in the net. And when they did have their lapses, the Blackhawks were able to capitalize. Defense is chasing. Defense is no gap control, leaving wide open spots on the ice. It just they're out of whack. The defense is absolutely out of whack, and I don't know why. It seems like and I don't want to put it on this, but it seems like ever since Dowdy's been back, almost they've been giving up. It feels like they've been giving up more goals per game. They've been at the before these last few games, they've been scoring more goals per game, but it also feels like they've been a little bit porous on the defensive side, and the goalies as well. The goalies need to come up with some big stops and just not getting it done. Neither goalie, Riddick or Kemper. So a whole lot of things. We'll get to the Chicago game here in a minute as I blow through these other games here. Riddick was in net against Vancouver. Vancouver wins in overtime with about 30. I think it was like 30 seconds left, and yeah. So assisted on the Fogle goal is Fogle's 16th goal of the season. Spence 17th assist, and Jacob Overar his 5th assist of the season. Riddick was in net, stopped 14 of 17 shots. It has to be better than that. You're seeing only 17 shots, and I get it. Sometimes the other team just makes great plays. The overtime goal, I can't remember who scored it for Vancouver, but I mean, it was now. Granted, it was a great shot. It really was. It was. I guess it'd be if you look at the net, it would have been the upper left hand corner, just over the right shoulder, right elbow, basically, of Riddick. But he had clear line of sight the whole way there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's easier said than done, I guess. It's not like he was right up on him either. He's seen the shot coming the whole way. I don't know. Great goaltender stop that, I think. And then again, like I said, it was a great shot. So what the hell do I know? I'm not a professional goalie. I'm just an annoyed Kings fan right now. The up and down play is making me sick. So looking at some game stats here. Shots on goal, Vancouver, 17 shots to LA's 26. Hits went to Vancouver, 28 to LA's 27. Face-offs went to LA, 27-26. Power plays, 1 for 2 for Vancouver, 0 for 4 for the Kings. Disgusting. And block shots, a lot of block shots for the Canucks, 17 to the Kings, 10. So we have that game. Again, you get a point out of it, which was a big point. Vancouver, they got 2, but they only gained 1 point on the Kings. So it wasn't a win, but we'll still take the point. The point was still pretty important. So then the Kings go on the road again. On the road again. Can't wait to get my ass kicked on the road again. That's what it feels like with the Kings here. It's just been awful on the road. I think they have 12 road wins. I think 17 losses or something like that. I was just looking at it before. I should have wrote it down, but I was just looking at it. It's really really bad on the road this year. Last year, total opposite. Last year on the road, the Kings were setting records early in the season and throughout the rest of the season, playing pretty decent hockey on the road. Not this year, not this year at all. The Kings lose to the Blues in St. Louis 4-1. Now, granted, St. Louis they've been playing for some pretty good hockey. They're crawling their way back into the wild card. So to give credit where credit's due, and they're not a bad team. They're playing good hockey right now. So first period, Fiala scores his 24th goal is a power play goal. How about that? Assisted by Doughty, his 4th of the season, and Kopitar's 34th assist of the season. And a beautiful shot by Fiala. Great puck movement as the power play was winding down. I don't remember how much time was actually left on the clock, but it wasn't a whole lot. And Fiala's beautiful shot. It nearly impossible to stop through traffic. Top of the net there. Able to just the torque on the stick was unbelievable. If you go back and watch that replay, they showed a great slow mo on that goal. And the torque on his stick, it makes you wonder how those things don't snap. Technology, I tell you, science. That's what it is. It has to be science. I don't know what else would keep that twig together. Yeah, it's just the great bend on it. Great bend and snaps it in there. Awesome. Uh, but that's where all the goodness ended for the Kings that night. Uh, Parayko, Parayko, that's hard for me to say. I don't know. Scored his 15th of the season in the first for St. Louis, assisted by Kairu and Holloway. Uh, Bukanevich, Bukanevich, 13th of the season, assisted by Thomas and Neighbors. Uh, that's 3-1 or 2-1 after one for the Canucks or for the Blues. My brain's all messed up now. Second period, they add to it. Bolduck scores his ninth, assisted by Joseph. It was on a breakaway. So you have that. Third period, Holloway scores his 19th, assisted by Shen and Suter. Uh, Tough night. Again, David Rittich, he was in net for this one. Stopped 30 of 34 shots, 882 save percentage. And yeah, and you're looking at some team stats here. Kings were outshot 34-26, out hit 34-25. They won more faceoffs 29-28. Power play 1 for 1. St. Louis was over 2. Block shots. St. Louis had 20 block shots. The Kings 10. So Kings just not getting in lanes, and it's not going well. It's not going well at all. I feel like I'm missing a game here. I think I am. The Dallas game. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. I skipped over the Dallas game. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Um, the Kings also got their asses spanked to the Dallas Stars to start the road trip, 6-2. And this one was a rough game to watch. I mean, it started off. The game was fast paced to start, and it looked like the Kings were keeping up fairly well. But once Dallas got that second goal, I mean, they smothered the Kings. They were all over their asses. The Kings just every time they come up for air, Dallas would pull them right back down under, and they were outclassed, outplayed by a much better team. And uh, that's all you can say. Dallas is a great team. Uh, so the Kings aren't on that level. I mean, anything can happen. It's you get to the playoffs, like I say every time. Everybody's 0-0. You have to get there first. And who knows? The Kings play the Stars in the playoffs, are able to buckle down the defense and play their game and force Dallas into their game. Who knows what could happen? But that game that night, the Kings were absolutely outclassed. Dallas was far and away the better team, and no doubt about it. Robertson for Dallas kicked the scoring off with his 25th goal of the season. Warren Fogle matched it, his 17th of the season, assisted by Philly D and Mikey Anderson. Then the next few were all Dallas. Duquesne scored his 24th, a power play goal. Stankoven scored his 8th of the season. They go to the second period. Johnston, his 18th, a power play goal. Trevor Moore answers that one back. His 11th of the season, that one was unassisted. In the third period, Stankoven strikes again. His ninth of the season, steal on a shorthanded. It was a turnover. I don't know. I don't know necessarily if it was a bad pass or it was not had to be a bad pass. I just see a picture in my head. It's the anticipation was off, or miscommunication somewhere between the two players. But it was a shorthanded goal by Steele, and it was nasty. It was a nasty game to watch. It's like getting kicked in the nuts over and over and over again, 6 times getting kicked in the nuts. It was awful. Darcy Kemper, one of the better goaltenders in the league, was in net, and he had a rough night. He had a rough night. Uh, Stopped 26 out of 32 shots for an 813 save percentage. That's tough. Looking at some team stats here, shots on goal went to Dallas 32-31. Hits went to LA 28-15. Faceoffs went to LA 34-24. 0 for 4 on a damn power play. Dallas was 2 for 3. Block shots went to Dallas 16-15. And the Kings penalty kill is just taking a nosedive right now. For as bad as the power play's been, that's how bad the penalty kill is playing right now. Absolutely awful. Awful penalty kill. Then they turn around, they lose to the Blues 4-1, and then last night's monstrosity. I mean, I don't even know where to go with last night. The Kings, for the most part, outplayed the Blackhawks for like 90% of the game, but that 10% that they didn't, Chicago's able to put up 5 goals. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Stats don't mean anything. It's about what the scoreboard says, and the scoreboard said Chicago wins 5-1, and it was disgusting, absolutely disgusting to watch that game. And yeah, it's one of those games they kind of put behind you. And you can't even say Chicago was hot. You can't even say they were playing good hockey. They had like a 4 or 5 game losing streak. They beat Anaheim. So they come back home because I was in Anaheim. They come back home and just win another one to make a 2 game winning streak. I mean, like you can't even say that they're on a winning streak before this. You can't even say, well, they won 10 of their last 12 games, or you can't even say that. They've been shit. The Blackhawks have been awful, and the Kings went in there and they got spanked on the scoreboard. I mean, it just seems like I'm not a hockey expert. I'm not. I really am not. I'm not an X's and O's guy. I've been a hockey fan, Jesus, probably since 92, 93. Well, Wayne Gretzky, that's kind of the first player that I really, really followed. And that's why I'm a Kings fan. He wasn't my favorite player, after that, but, I was a big Kelly Rudy fan, goalie for the Kings back then. Yeah, it had to be, I think it was 92, 91, 92. That's when I really started watching hockey and really started digging hockey. And, in '93 is where the Kings lost to the Canadians in the Stanley Cup. I think it was 4 games to 1. Uh, was it '93 playoffs too, where you had that awesome Wendell Clark, Marty McSorley fight? Toronto Maple Leafs. So I think when they're in the Western Conference, Maple Leafs versus the Kings in the playoffs. That went to, I think, 7 games, I believe. And I just remember that. I vaguely remember that series, but I remember being super physical. I remember that fight. And there was something else that happened in that series too that really kind of worked up towards that fight. I don't remember exactly what it was, but anyway, I'm getting off track here. I don't even know where the hell I was going with that. But it was yeah, I'm not an X and O's guy. I've been a hockey fan for a long time, since I was 11, basically 11 years old, and I can't tell you exactly technically what's going on here, but just watching it, watching, when the Kings were playing good defensive hockey, and then watching it now, it just seems like they're spread out, and they're chasing the puck. Then it's like uh, you know lemmings. If you ever heard the term, it's a lemming. It's somebody that just follows somebody else aimlessly. There used to be a video game on, Jesus. I think it's either on Nintendo or the Atari. I don't know if it's the Atari or not, but it was a video game called Lemmings, and that's what you would do. You'd walk a whole bunch of people following you. You'd walk them either to safety or off a cliff. I don't remember exactly what the premise of the game was. It's probably to safety. It doesn't make sense to walk them off a cliff. They'd follow you anywhere. They'd follow you into danger. That's what a lemming does. They follow you anywhere, and they're following that puck. They're just following it around, chasing, instead of still playing good, solid defense. They just leaving guys wide open in front of the net, and just, and again, I've heard other people mention gap control, and it makes sense. You watch it and it makes sense. Like, there is no gap control. There's nothing. It's they're loose on defense, and you have Brand Clark, taking the brunt of it, getting sat out a lot. I mean, I'm not going to say he's the savior, because he's not. Strong defense isn't his strong point. He's an offensive defenseman, but I don't know. He hasn't been playing a whole lot. Maybe he's the key. Maybe he's the key for the Kings to get back to doing what they were doing before. I don't know, but they need to figure that shit out real quick, or they're going to find themselves battling for a wild card spot. I mean, right now they have a little bit of a cushion in the Pacific Division, but And I'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. But it's not comfortable by any means. So looking at this Kings Chicago game, Chicago starts off the scoring. Martinez, the former King, Alec Martinez, scores his fifth, assisted by Todd Bertuzzi. And then the captain, there he is, Anze Kopitar. Finally, we get some noise from him. He scores his 14th of the season. I think that's his first goal in like 24 games or something like that. Assisted by Alex Turcotte, his 14th assist of the season, and Adrian Kempe's 24th assist. Nice shot by Kopi. The beautiful pass from Turcotte. It really was a beautiful pass from just outside the boards there, below the below. I can't think what they call it. The just is behind the goalie's net. It was kind of beyond that a little bit. That line there, I can't think what the hell they call it. But anyway, it's just outside the lower face-off circle. Again, I'm not an X and O's guy. I don't know all the terminology. Just a fan. The Kings outshot the Blackhawks in the first period. I think it was like 17 shots on goal for the Kings to maybe the Blackhawks 7. They were all over the Blackhawks, but only 1-1. That's a win for the Blackhawks, an absolute win for the Blackhawks there. And the Kings felt good about the offensive chances they got, but they couldn't have felt good not getting more, not lighting the lamp more often in that period, in the first period. Hey, Eileen, what's up, Eileen? Hey, you were getting some bat fry action, some very somber bat fry here. Kings not looking good right now. So you head to the second period again. Kings feeling good about themselves, but a lot of this season, the second period has been a nightmare for them. An absolute nightmare. A nightmare. Even the second half of first periods have been nightmares for them. So you go into the second period, and Blackhawks kick the scoring off. Makayev, he scored his 12th of the season, and that was assisted by Teravainen and Donato. And then Blackhawks again put another one on the board. Del Mastro. He scores, assisted by Maroon and Reichel. That was his second of the season. So now you're going to the third period, and now the shots on goal in that one went to the it was a tie, 9-9. So the Blackhawks played better defense. Kings offensively slumped, compared to the first period. So, and again, second period historically this season has been rough for them. Going into the third period, Kings down 3-1. We've seen this show before. Kings able to put some numbers up in the third period, either tie games up or take leads or come from behind, win games. So you're not feeling out of it yet. Third period again, Chicago kicks the scoring off. Athanasu, you know what? And I said this name in my head a million times, and I heard it a million times, and like I'm gonna mess this name up, and I did. So Athanasu, and I did it again. Scored his second of the or first goal of the season, and then Donato, he finishes it off with an empty netter. His 22nd of the season, assisted by Makayev and Teravainen. And 5-1. Darcy Kemper in net. Stopped 14 of 18 shots. For one of the top goalies in the league, that's crap. That's crap. I mean, defense let him down, but still, you still got to make plays. You're a top goalie in the league. You still got to make plays, and I think the first blame has to go to the defense. For the 5 goals, but then not far behind has to be Darcy Kemper. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Again, I don't know. I'm not a professional goalie. I'm not even a professional podcaster. I'm a dad. I work in a factory, but still, it just has you scratching your head. And it's the same thing. Same thing as these last few games. You see a lot of chasing. You see no gap control, and nobody getting in lanes. And it's just awful. Really bad team defense by the Kings. Offensively, they had their opportunities, they had their chances, and I give Spencer Knight a lot of credit for Chicago. First start as a Blackhawk. He was just picked up Saturday from a trade from Florida where the Blackhawks sent Seth Jones. 41 saves for Spencer Knight. He did a great job. Great job for Spencer Knight. And you kind of had that sinking feeling when you heard it was his first start, with the Blackhawks, just traded from Saturday. Just, as a Raider fan, I started having flashbacks of Baker Mayfield when he was traded to the Rams, a couple days before the Raiders played the Rams. Like, oh, he doesn't even know the system. What is he going to do? And they go out there and beat the Raiders. And it's like, Jesus Christmas. So looking at team stats for this game, 42 shots on goal for the Kings, 42 shots on goal, 1 goal scored. Oh, unacceptable. Chicago, 19 shots on goal, five goals scored. Darcy Kemper has given up 10 goals in his last 2 starts. Yeah, that ain't going to get it done. Hits went to LA 13-11. Not a whole lot of hitting in this game, statistically anyway. Face-offs, Kings 29-21. Again, they've been pretty good in the face-off circle. That's been about it for them recently. Power plays 0 for 1, surprise. Penalty kill 0 for 2. So that was a little bit better. Block shots went to Chicago 19-12. And I think looking at the stats, looking over the last couple games, a lot of block shots against the Kings. I mean, so, that's part of it, but the Kings aren't blocking a lot of shots either. So, then that goes back to me saying that it feels like you have nobody getting in the lanes. Whereas before the Kings, a lot of the games, they're tied or they're leading in block shots. And, these last few games, 4-game losing streak now, 3 of those games, Kings are unable to register a point. So you say a 4-game losing streak, you look back at that Vancouver game, technically that's an overtime loss, so it's a loss, but they still got a point out of it. And it has to leave Jim Hiller, absolutely dumbfounded for to be as steady defensive team as they were. From them to go from that, being considered probably one of the top defensive teams in the league, to being what they've been recently. It's just been, even the games that they were winning in February, again, giving up, easy rebounds or what have you. You could kind of see some lapses in defense there that weren't there normally. Now, January, when the Kings were losing all those games, 5-7-1 in January, their defense was still playing solid. It was the offense. There was no offense. And then you look at February, they were 5-2-1, I believe it was, or was it 5-2-2 in February? I think it was 5-2-2 in February. Much better February for the Kings than January offensively, but defensively. And then March, it rolls right into March. Right? Defensively, not very good, and offensively, they're not scoring again. So where do you go from there? What do you try to correct first? Well, this Friday is the trade deadline, and I don't know. Uh, looking up, seeing that rumors, this guy, they say you don't know what to believe, and I'm more of a kind of a guy that's let's wait and see what happens. And but here's a couple names that have been linked to the Kings. Michael DeRosa. He was just saying recently that I think it was today. Today he posted Oliver Bjorkstrand. They're connecting his name to the Kings from I think it was Montreal. That wouldn't be a bad pickup there. I think, and I think a lot of this depends on a couple of different factors. Who the Kings are looking at picking up, because you're hearing Mikko Rantanen, you're hearing Brock Besser, and I don't think those guys are likely at all. One, because they're gonna want a lot of money after the season. They're gonna want to be signed long term, and the Kings can't afford those guys. The Kings can't afford Mikko Rantanen or Brock Besser. It has to be some really creative bookkeeping for the Kings to be able to afford those guys long term. So you're looking at rentals. So what are you willing to give up, rental wise? Are you willing to trade Brant Clark away for Miko Ranton for not even a half a season, for a couple weeks in the regular season, and hopefully a playoff run. Hopefully, it's the same thing with Brock Besser, who maybe it's not really uh, offensively as gifted as Miko Ranton. And then again, Miko Ranton since being traded to Carolina hasn't been all that spectacular either. So it is what it is. So I don't know. So I think those two guys are out, in my opinion. Exactly what it is. It's an opinion, and take that with a grain of salt. If you're looking for somebody's opinion on hockey trades or whatever, you just look for some credible sources. I'm just throwing crap out there and seeing what sticks. I also seen Ricard Rockel from Pittsburgh, Ricard Raquel from Pittsburgh. He signed. Now this one's interesting. The Pittsburgh's looking to move him supposedly, young player, and he signed through 27-28. So it'd be curious to see what kind of assets the Pittsburgh will be looking for him. The Penguins will be looking for him because the Kings are able to bring him in. They have control until the 27-28 season before he becomes a free agent. So that's a little bit more like perks you up a little bit. And Kyle Palmieri, I'm not really sure. I didn't look too deep into him. Oliver Borkstrand, I think he's another one that might be uh, signed. I think through 26 through next season. But I could be wrong with that one. There was somebody else that was signed through 26, but I'm not really 100% sure who it was. And the Kings they have $4.4 million of cap space to play with. Here for the trade deadline. So if they're going to give up some assets, maybe they trade away somebody on the active roster right now. Jordan Spence, his name's been popping up a lot lately. Quentin Byfield, I don't see that happening. Um, Brant Clark is another one. His name's popping up a lot. And I don't see that happening either. I just don't know. So many people have coming into the season saying Brant Clark's the future. That's Doughty's replacement. Blah blah blah. And now they're talking about trade deadline. Trading Brant Clark. It's like I don't understand. It's his first full season up at the NHL level, and maybe it's not going so great for him defensively, or sometimes he seems a little bit lost out there. You got to give him time. Yeah, you have to give him a little bit of time. It just can't be like, well, he's a bust and that's it. It can't be that. He needs more playing time. He needs to be out there more often. And yeah, I don't know how you can do that. How we can get him out there more often. I don't know how. Short of an injury, but now they have Kyle Burrows out there over Brant Clark. So that made me think when I see Kyle Burrows out there over Brant Clark. My first thought was, is he being traded? Are they taking him off the ice to keep him healthy so they can trade him? I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is, but how many times have we seen it in baseball, right? Your pitcher's out there, you know, or even a position player in mid inning, coach comes out there, pulls them off so he doesn't get hurt because they're being traded, or they don't even play in a game. They sit because there's a chance they might be traded at the trade deadline. So I hope that's not it, but I wouldn't put it past this front office. There's also Trevor Moore's name has been floated out there a lot. He's not having a great season, but playing better as of late. He's not a difference maker for anybody out there. So why would anybody want to take him? I don't know. Uh, I just don't see Quentin Byfield being even as he's untouchable. I think Quentin Byfield's untouchable. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm struggling to say here. He's untouchable. Kempe's untouchable. I think Kempe, Fiala. I think they have no movement clauses, no trade clauses, whatever. Just like Gavrikov. Now Gavrikov is one that where I thought if they could convince him to waive his no movement clause, maybe they'd shop him for some offense. But I haven't heard his name at all. Be honest with you, if he'd be even willing to. Kings are the Kings did say that they want to re-sign him long term at the end of the season. So I think at the end of the season, the Kings will have 12 million in cap space as of right now. So, but we'll see what kind of moves. And what are they going to do with goal? Riddick has been playing awful. Giving up 7 goals his last 2 starts, and really bad goals. You go back and watch the highlights of the goals given up. It's just they've been ugly goals given up, and Kemper's been struggling as of late. And these guys are struggling. The defense is struggling. So you have to you look at it and it makes sense. They were playing good before. The defense was playing good. The goalies are playing good. Defense is playing like crap. The goalies are playing like crap. It goes hand in hand, especially with this team. So yeah. So those were a couple names that I seen floated out there, especially today when I was snooping around before I came on live. And I think it's 3 p.m. Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. I think Friday is the deadline. Definitely Friday. But I feel like it's 3 p.m. Eastern, but I could be wrong with that. So looking at our standings now, after getting our dick smacked over the last couple games, in the Pacific Division, still being led by the Vegas Golden Knights, 36 wins, 18 losses, 6 overtime losses, 78 points. They're at a plus 23 in goal differential. The Oilers, right behind them, 35 wins, 21 losses, 4 overtime losses, 74 points, plus 21. Kings sitting in the third spot, only 59 games played. They have 1 game in hand on the Golden Knights and the Oilers. Kings 31 wins, 20 losses, 8 overtime losses, 70 points, a plus 8 in the goal differential. And most of the season they're hovering around 20, in the teens and stuff. Over this last week they've been taking their goal differentials take a big hit. So Calgary has moved into the 4th spot in the Pacific Division. 28 wins, 23 losses, 9 overtime losses, 65 points, minus 21. Vancouver's 27 wins, 22 losses, 11 overtime losses, 65 points as well. Minus 19. Anaheim creeping away in there, 26 wins, 26 losses, 7 overtime losses, 59 points, minus 29. Seattle, 26 wins, 31 losses, 4 overtime losses, 56 points, a minus 18 goal differential. And the Sharks bringing up the rear, 16 wins, 37 losses, 9 overtime losses, 41 points, a minus 72. 72 goal difference, minus 72 goal difference. Unbelievable. Looking at the West, looking at the points standings here, Winnipeg leading the way in the West, 88 points. Dallas, 80 points. Vegas, 78. Edmonton, 74. Minnesota, 74. Colorado, 72. LA, 70. So that puts the Kings at 7th in the West right now. Calgary, 65 points. Vancouver, 65. St. Louis, 64. And Utah Hockey Club, the Utah Polygamists, the Utah Mormons, the Utah Ski Slopes, the Utah uh, Skunk Apes, the Utah Skunk Apes. I like that one. That should be their team name, the Utah Skunk Apes. I mean, that's a Florida thing, but still, it's they wanted to call themselves a Yeti, but they weren't allowed to. I think Skunk Ape is the next best thing. If you're watching out there right now, we're sitting at 100 live viewers. If you're watching out there right now and you have a good name for Utah, the Utah Hockey Club, let me hear it. I was looking for this last week, last Tuesday. I put that out there when I was talking about the Utah versus Kings game, and nobody really responded. We had Cowboy Dave with some names out there, and I think Eileen put a name out there. So Utah Mormons. It's like I said, I don't know what the hell goes on in Utah. I don't know what they do in Utah. I don't know if there's anything special about Utah. Like I said, they can marry multiple wives. I think that's in Utah. So that's polygamy. So the Utah polygamists, the Utah puckleheads, slap nuts. I don't know. So if the season were to end today, the Central Division would be Winnipeg is your 1, Dallas 2, Minnesota 3, The Pacific, Vegas 1, Edmonton 2, Kings 3, and your wild card teams would be Colorado and Calgary. So Winnipeg would be your overall number 1, Vegas your number 2, and so on and so on. So Winnipeg would, if the playoffs started today, Winnipeg would be playing Calgary. Calgary would be your bottom seed, your second wild card team. Vegas, your number 2 overall seed, second best record in the West. They'd be playing Colorado, the first wild card team. It sucks to be Vegas. That'd be a hell of a match to watch. The tough out, tough out. Then you'd have Dallas versus Minnesota, the 2 and 3 from the Central, and of course the Kings would play the damn Oilers again, 4th year in a row. As Edmonton's the 2 and the Kings are the 3, and Edmonton would have home ice advantage there. So it's like it's almost, it's like watching a car crash in slow motion, just waiting for him to hit. So it seems inevitable, like Thanos. So, he's inevitable. That's what it just feels inevitable. That's gonna be the Kings and Oilers. And if you would ask me December, I would have said I have a good feeling that the Kings can beat the Oilers this year. If you would ask me early February, I said I'm feeling it. I feel like the Kings, figure out their scoring a little bit. They can beat the Oilers. The Oilers struggled through February, but now not so much. The Oilers aren't pulling away by any stretch of the imagination here. They're not playing well either, but Paul says the Kings are 12, 17, and 5 on the road. That was pretty close. I think I said 12 and something. I think I said 12 and 17 or 12 and 19 or something. So I wasn't too far off. At home, I think they're 19 and 3 or something like that. 19-3 and something. Much better at home. They have a lot of home games left. I think they have 16 home games left. I think they have like maybe 7 on the road, 5 to 7 on the road, something. So a lot more home games left than road games. So that's in the Kings' favor there. Playing well at the Crypt. So looking at some stats now, season stats right now for some players. Kempe is leading the way with 26 goals, 24 assists, 50 points. He leads the team in goals and assists. A plus minus a plus 13. Kopi, 14 goals, 34 assists, 48 points, plus 5. He leads the team in assists with 34. Kevin Fiala, 24 goals, 15 assists, 39 points, minus 11 in the plus minus rating. Plus minus rating, if you don't know what that is, if you're on the ice when you score a goal, you get A plus. If you're on the ice when you give up a goal, that's A minus. Those are X's and O's. Those are stats that I can get behind. Simple, cut to the chase type stats. I'm down with that. So back out of here. Byfield, 11 goals, 23 assists, 34 points. He's at a plus 6. Warren Fogle, 17 goals, 15 assists, 32 points, plus 22. He leads the team in plus minus rating. Philly D, Philip Denault, 5 goals, 26 assists, 31 points, plus 9. Alex Laferriere, 15 goals, 16 assists, 31 points, plus 11. Trevor Moore, 11 goals, 15 assists, 26 points, plus 4. Brant Clark, 4 goals, 21 assists, 25 points, plus 7. He leads defensemen in assists and points for the Kings here. Alex Turcotte, 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points, plus 6. Jordan Spence, 3 goals, 17 assists, 20 points, plus 10. Vladislav Gavrikov, great name. I love saying that name. 3 goals, 17 assists, 20 points, plus 6. Looking at the goalies, Darcy Kemper, 18 wins, 8 losses, 6 overtime losses, 2.38 goals against, 911 save percentage. Still, even though giving up 10 goals in the last 2 games, still a pretty solid save percentage and goals against average. David Riddick, 12 wins, 12 losses, 2 overtime losses, 2.66 goals against, and 889 save percentage. And that's something the Kings need to look at. Right now, Eric Portillo down with the Ontario Reign. He's been hurt for a little bit now. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but he's been hurt. And so I don't know. I would say automatically, call up Eric Portillo, do something with Riddick if you have to trade him, if you have to whatever. Bring up Eric Portillo, give him a shot, and go from there. He can't do much worse than what Riddick's been doing lately. So, but with him being injured, the other option is Phoenix Copley, and Phoenix, who played well for the Kings 2 years ago. I don't know where he's really at this year with Ontario. I haven't really followed it too much, so I'm not really sure. Playing good, playing bad, playing okay. I don't know. But as a backup goalie, would he do better than Riddick? Maybe. I'm not sure. But again, that's something at the trade deadline. Do the Kings look to do something there? Goal? I don't think so. I think it's all about scoring for the Kings, and I think that's it. It has to be about scoring. The experts, the other podcasts that I listen to, and then the articles that I read, from the Hockey News, our boy um, Connor there, he talking about right-handed shots stuff like so. Well, it has to be. It has. Like they can't go defense. If they go defense, I think people's heads are going to explode. It has to be offense, and I don't know if they can afford anybody out there. Like anybody that's going to make a huge difference anyway. I just don't know if they can afford it. They do have some prospects they can move on from. Uh, you know, but would that be enough? Draft picks and stuff. Between a rock and a hard place right now for the Kings. So coming up for the Kings this week, Wednesday, they play St. Louis at the Crypt. That's a 10:30 start, I believe, 10:30 Eastern start. Saturday, once again at the Crypt against St. Louis again. That's an 8 o'clock start, and then Sunday at Vegas against the Golden Knights, and that is an 8 o'clock or 8:30 start again Eastern time, and it's they need to bounce back. Two games back to back against St. Louis. Again, the team that's just on the outside looking in, but they're playing decent hockey now. They have them at home in LA, so let's go out there, make a statement, and and get back on the right track defensively and offensively. Just I don't know even know what to say offensively anymore. And then go into Vegas. It's gonna be that's gonna be a tough one. That's gonna be a tough game. So all right, just to let everybody know before I jump out of here, returning this Friday at 7 p.m. inside the Octagon for all you UFC fans with Paul and Josh and Paul. A couple tough looking dudes there on the screen. Look at them. Look at them. Arms folded like they mean business. Watch out now. UFC inside the Octagon. They'll be talking all mixed martial arts, and I'm sure some boxing, perhaps. But definitely, inside the Octagon. That's MMA. So this Friday, 7 p.m. So be sure to check that out. Tonight, the part-time marks, 10:30 p.m. They'll be talking Monday Night Raw, NXT. That's at 10:30 tonight. Tomorrow morning, I will be live again, 9 a.m. with the Batcave talking New York Mets baseball. So you're a Mets fan, you're a baseball fan, tune in to check that out. I'm talking some spring training and some of my thoughts on the pitching staff right now, where we're at, and what they should do with the back half of the rotation, and offensively, who might make the team that could be a surprise, maybe not so much a surprise, but who might make the team that's going to make an impact off the bench. And then tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m., you have Cowboys Weekly with Paul and Cowboy Dave. Thursday, you'll have NFL Weekly at 7 p.m. I believe that's at 7 p.m. NFL Weekly, talking exactly what it is, NFL. That's with Paul and Dan. Friday, 9 a.m., I will be live again, Silver and Black Lair, Las Vegas Raiders edition, talking Raiders football, the soap opera that is Raiders quarterback position. I'll be talking some draft prospects again, defensive line this time, free agents, defensive line, and much more. Any other kind of Raider news that might be out there. And that's Friday at 9 a.m. And then Friday night, like I just said, at 7 p.m., you'll have uh, Inside the Octagon with Paul and Josh, their debut, the second coming, Inside the Octagon 2.0, the reboot, whatever you want to call it, with Paul and Josh. And that's this Friday, 7 p.m. So be sure to check that out, all you MMA fans. It's going to be a great show. Paul and Josh, super knowledgeable about mixed martial arts, especially UFC. And then, of course, to finish out the week, tune in this Saturday, 9 p.m. for the Atomic Drop podcast, talking WWE wrestling. It'll be me and a whole host of people. It could be the part-time Marks guys, Larry and Kurt. I'm sure they'll be on. Maybe we'll get Cowboy Dave on, and we'll talk wrestling, Raw, SmackDown, the road to WrestleMania, John Cena's heel turn. Oh, my God. The final boss, Cody Rhodes getting kicked in the groin. Io Sky with the upset last night over Rhea Ripley. I still have to go back and watch Monday Night Raw. I was working last night, so I didn't get a chance to see it. So, but I did see that on X, all the pictures of Io Sky winning the title from Rhea Ripley. What an upset. I'll have to go back and check that out. So yeah, that's this Saturday, 9 p.m., the Atomic Drop podcast. Be sure to check that out. I will be live again with Silver and Black Lair LA Kings edition next Tuesday, 9 a.m. I'll be talking the two games against the Blues and, of course, the game against the Golden Knights. Yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have for today. Follow us at OOT Box Sports on YouTube and X. Be sure to subscribe and follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on X. Follow me on X at SB_Lair_OOTBE. I follow back. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel at the Batcave_OOTBSE. That once again is at the Batcave_OOTBSE. That's my YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. And one last thing. W Energy Drink. You want to help me out? Go to check out W Energy at www.w.gg. Use my promo code, The Batcave. It's all one word, just like you see it up there on the screen. The Batcave for 10% off your order. It's a jitterless energy drink made from coffee fruit extract. It's phenomenal. I love the taste. I love the flavors. I've tried a couple flavors. They come in tubs or powder form, so it's you mix it and you can buy yourself some pretty cool shakers there. You're a fan of anime or anything like that, they have a couple of cool anime shakers on their website at www.w.gg. So be sure to check that out. The flavors that I've tried, Calio cream, which is a mango and orange cream, and then another one was it dragon? I think it was Dragonade. It was Dragonade, which was a dragon fruit and strawberry lemonade mix. And that one easily so far has been my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and order another tub of something different, try another flavor. But they also have sampler packs, hydro sampler packs for those, you need your electrolytes and you don't want to drink that Gatorade or Powerade or any other sugary sports drink. Check that out. They have sampler packs. They also have sampler packs of their energy drinks. So check that out. A couple different flavors there. And like I said, shakers. They have other swag as well. So check that out. Use my promo code The Batcave for 10% off your order. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you do get something, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are and what you got and whatever. All right. All right. So that's all I have for today. I appreciate everybody for checking out the show. I really do. And I guess until next time, Go Kings, go.